Well, hello and welcome. My name is Jeff Hooks. I am the President and Chief Operating Officer of Victory Nutrition International, and I'm excited to be with you this Saturday morning, July 20th, 2019, for this VNI partner training. I hope you've got a pen and paper ready because we're gonna share some great information. As I believe all of you know, whether you're listening to this live or recording, this is the third installment of a three-part training series that we've done, and I want to share with you, if you're a brand new partner or you missed the first two, don't go away. This is still going to be relevant, but I want to encourage you to go back to the first two parts of this training so you've got the whole picture. Okay, this three-part training series is entitled How to Share VNI. How to share the VNI story, how to share the VNI products. Part one, we talked about who do you share VNI with? And specifically, we talked about being very intentional, proven strategies on how you can never run out of people to talk to about VNI. Okay, so that's a very important one. That was a very, that we ran out of time. That was a jam-packed training with a lot of good information. So that was part number one. Who do you share VNI with? How do you go about engaging in the mission with VNI in such a way, with intent, where you never run out of people to talk to? Okay, and we don't want you. I don't want you. I mean, personally, I don't want you, advertising, spending money on ads, spending money on search engine optimization and those types of things. If you're a digital marketing, if that's your business, then great. We do have some partners that are doing very well with that. But for the average person, certainly myself included, you don't have to do that. The principles that we teach and the leaders that we have on this platform, whether it's Ed and Gina Bender, whether it's Ken Nasmitz, whether it's Cynthia Sauer, if you look at the last number of weeks, we featured Mike Boston, one of our newest directors, just a few weeks ago. No matter who is leading the partner trainings on Saturday, what I want you to understand, all of you, as part of the VNI family, is that we're never gonna teach something that's theory. We're never going to teach something on this platform that is unproven, it's untested. We're always going to share best practices from leaders that have done it and are doing it, so that it's transferable. Okay, because we've gone through the learning curve. The leadership team's gone through the learning curve. You don't have to make the same mistakes that we've made, and that's an exciting way to learn. And so it's all about helping you get through that learning curve. And for those of you that are already leaders and emerging leaders, we've got a number of partners plugged into this platform. Let me do a quick check here, see who's on. Yeah, we've got two of our top 10 earners, including Ed and Gina Bender, as always, leading by example. Abner, I don't want to leave anybody out, but we've got great participation. And so you might ask yourself, if you're brand new, you might ask yourself, all right, why, if this is a partner training that is appropriate for a brand new VNI partner, why would Ed and Gina Bender, why would Abner, why would our top income earners plug into this training live? And if you're asking that question, it's a good question. And here's the answer. Our leaders recognize the importance of leading by example, the importance of plugging in, the importance of setting the pace for their team. They also understand the importance of continuing to learn. I often share this quote from I first learned it from John Wooden, Coach John Wooden. I later learned that he picked it up from the wonderful Earl Nightingale. But excuse me, frog in the throat. So and here it is. It's what we learn after we know it all that counts. It's what we learn after we know it all that counts. Think about that. So what does that mean? That means our top leaders are humble and are always looking to pick up. Maybe it's one idea We learn from each other. Every time Ed and Gina have done a training, I've picked up an idea. I've picked up a concept. I've picked up a phrase. Maybe sometimes it's a question that's an effective question that I want to incorporate into making me, better at what I do. And that's the idea. That's the mindset that we want everyone to have. And so welcome. We're going to go back now. Again, part one. Let me go back through the recap. Part one was who do we share with, and how to never run out of people to share with. Part two, which was last week, was the actual sharing part. I'm going to wrap up a couple things on that today, a couple ideas, a couple principles that I think will be of value. And then we're going to transition into the follow-up. Okay, the follow-up. That's a very important part of what we call a pattern of activity that is an area that all of us can improve on. There's some ideas that I'll share with you that I believe will have an absolute impact. I'm going to start with a quote that I just put in. What I did was basically, if you're familiar with the name Ken Blanchard, he's a very, very accomplished best-selling author, thought leader, leadership expert, management guru. He's written The 1 Minute Manager. He's written a lot of great books. He has a quote that I basically personalized for us for V&I. And so I want to send that into your chat bar. Ken says there is a difference between being involved, and again, I personalized it. There's a difference between being involved with the V&I mission and being committed to the V&I mission. When you're involved, you only take action when it's convenient. When you're committed, you accept no excuses, only results. Think about that. That's I often, in fact, in some of our previous trainings, we talk about the difference between spare time versus part-time. I'm sending this in your chat bar. Spare time versus part-time. Spare time is the equivalent in this quote above of being involved. Okay, I always tell people you really can't create anything meaningful with V&I with a spare time mindset. A spare time mindset, which, by the way, none of you have because you're committed. You're on this training on a Saturday. You could be doing a lot of other things. So you've made your business a priority. You've committed to it today. So that's great. Keep doing that. Rinse and repeat, every day, every week, every month. And that's how you build an amazing enterprise with our mission. So think about that. Spare time is, again, it's like being involved. You're gonna take action when it's convenient, when you've got nothing else to do. If you trip over a conversation and somebody just, taps you on the shoulder and says, I'm looking to take a new supplement. Do you have an idea? And you're like, well, yeah, I do have an idea. I'm glad you asked. But that, we all know that doesn't necessarily happen a whole lot. And when you're committed, that's part-time. When you're part-time, it's not a function of the number of hours per week. It's a function of consistency and making your V&I goals, making your V&I mission a priority. And so it could be just a few hours a week, but if you'll do that every week and you do the right things, which is what this whole training series is about. So I thought you would benefit from that. I thought you would learn and gain value from that quote. There's a difference between being involved and being committed. When you're involved, you only take action when it's convenient. When you are committed, you accept no excuses, only results. And that's candidly, that's a leadership mindset. That's something that we want to develop, and you can develop it. You learn from each other, and again, being together today is a big part of that. Now, we're going to talk about, we always talk about staying plugged in. Stay plugged into the call, stay plugged into the event, stay plugged into your upline success coaches. That's very important. These are two principles of success. Stay plugged in, and then do something positive every day to grow your V&I business, to grow your customer base, to add new partners, to move your business forward. Okay, so consistency creates momentum. Okay, that's the key. An hour a day, 5 or 6 days a week for the next year, and you'll be amazed at what you can create. Okay, but if you put 10 hours in today, take 3 weeks off, put in 5 hours, and then take a week off, And then, if you've got an inconsistency with your efforts, you won't gain traction. It's an interesting dynamic. It's an organizational dynamic. In fact, the way this model works with the VNI mission. But you definitely need to, recognize that consistency is the key. Do a little bit every day, do a little bit each week, based on your goals. Now we do have partners obviously with bigger goals that are doing a lot more than that. But at the very minimum, the price of admission is consistency. So stay plugged in just like you're doing today, and do something positive every day to build and grow and make your dreams come true. Make whatever your vision is for yourself and your family with VNI and the value, the contribution that VNI is going to make into the priorities of your life. Be consistent with those efforts. Okay. So now we talked about sharing VNI. That was that's what last week was all about. I want to introduce, for some of you, it'll be an introduction, a concept and a phrase. I'm adding it right now, so give me just a second. I'm trying to multitask and I'm not doing it too well. Activity. All right. We talk about, and we're going to talk more and more. And for our leaders, I want you to use this language when you're shepherding and mentoring your partners. We talk about the pattern of productive activity. Okay, there are a lot of things a new partner can focus on when they first come on board. They can spend weeks and weeks on the clinicals and all the amazing ingredients of the product. And to a degree, if they need to do some of that, that's okay for belief and for confidence. But I wouldn't consider that productive activity. The productive activity is all about sharing the products, sharing the VNI story, sharing the business with new people, okay, with new people. That's the key, sharing with new people. Now, think about this. We have a process, a tactical process, if you will, so pardon the traditional business language. Invite, share, and follow up. Okay, that is the pattern of productive activity. Okay, and I don't know, sometimes the chat bar, sometimes there's a time limit where I wish that was together. The pattern of productive activity is invite, share, follow up. Okay, in fact, I'm going to do it this way. Hope you're taking notes with me. All right, invite, share, follow up. That is the pattern of productive activity. So let me say that a little bit differently. The number of times that you invite, share, follow up. Okay, that's what we call sharing the VNI product. Share you invite people to learn about our products, learn who we are. You share the information, and you follow up. The number of times that you do that on a daily, a weekly, and a monthly basis determines your rate of growth. No secrets here. It's really blocking and tackling. This is simple stuff. But the good news is it's predictable, creates predictable results based on your efforts, based on your goals, based on your vision, your dream, how hard you're willing to work, how excited you are, how passionate you are. Bill and Kim Downs and I have been talking lately about, is VNI, this is a leadership question. Is VNI your calling? And we want it to be. We're on a mission to assist people in becoming beacons of health, hope, and abundance. And for our top leaders, they don't clock in, put their VNI hat on for 30 minutes, make a couple calls, and clock out. Our top leaders are living the mission. It's a calling. And it's a calling to help people physically with these products and financially with this business model. So back to the point, the pattern of activity, how often you engage in that pattern of activity is going to determine your growth. Now, as a leader, how often your whole team engages. You want to lead by example, set the pace for your team. But recognize growth is very, very simple. At the end of the day, there are no secrets here. It's all right, how many times between my own leadership efforts and my team, Okay. How many times have we shared VNI with new people this day, this week, this month? Okay. That's the key. And you want to set your goals. You know, we've still got another, 11 days left in July. Break the zero and encourage your team to do the same thing. There are no secrets in this business. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's a level playing field. And your efforts determine your results. Your efforts determine your progress. And I hope you know that I share that with encouragement. I share that hopefully as an inspiration that, unlike so many things that many of us do in our daily lives where we don't have control, the reality of your VNI business is that you are in control. You can control your sharing activity based on your own efforts. You could take an hour after this call and make 10, 12 phone calls and engage in that process. So let's talk a little bit more before we move to the follow-up on sharing. And I jotted some notes down in my VNI success journal. I want to share with you just a couple of ideas. This is kind of building on what we wrapped up with last week. I'm not big on scripts, but what I do want to remind you of what we were talking about at the end of last week is we talk about when you engage in conversations with people, it's the make a friend, find a need, transfer the feeling. Okay, so that reminds me, those are kind of 3 little tips that you put relationships first. You'll find that the better you get, the more comfortable you get at asking questions, not in a spotlight interrogation, but in a conversational way, consistent with your personality. The more effective you're going to be. Pull with questions instead of pushing with statements. Write that down. Pull with questions as opposed to, I'll see how to chat this. Don't push with I'm going to do it this way so that you can, hopefully that makes sense. It broke it up again. I don't know why it does that. Pull with questions instead of pushing with talking. Don't just, and that's, I'll share with you, when I was brand new in relational marketing 3 decades ago and did not have the amazing intellectual property that we have, didn't have the scientific validation, didn't have the leadership, both corporate and field, that we're all blessed with, didn't have any of that. But one of my mistakes was I talked too much. I'm sure some of you recognize that. And I learned to ask questions. So think about that. When you're inviting people to learn about our products, it's real important. Now, I will share this with you. You could literally take our videos, and if you just asked people to watch, just pick the 5-minute product science video. If you invited 100 people to watch that video, then you shared, invite, share, follow up. Then you shared the video, and then you followed up. If you only did that, hey, Jeff, got a 5-minute video. Will you watch it? Yes, great. I'm going to forward it to you right now. And you shared that. You're going to get results. Follow me on this. If all you did was invite you, if you didn't do any of the relationship building, you didn't ask questions, you didn't listen for needs, you didn't just, talk to people and communicate and kind of listen to where they are in life. If all you did was take your contact list on your phone and you invited every person to watch in the US and Canada to watch the 5-minute product science video, and you shared that video, then you followed up, you're going to add customers and you're going to add partners, especially if you do some of the follow-up that we're going to talk about today. However, if you incorporate some other ideas into that sharing process, you're even going to be more effective. Okay? And that means share your feelings about the VNI products. Excuse me. So if you're taking notes, this is how you incorporate this. as you share, if all you did was just share the videos and follow up, you're going to get results. But if you share the videos and in that follow-up process, or you share your results with the product, you share some of the results that your customers have had, you share your feelings about the products, you share, and it's feelings more than information, but also information. It's like Ken Nasmith says, the science of good health. Talk about the scientific validation, the 48 peer-reviewed published clinical studies, et cetera, et cetera. So if you share your feelings about the products, when you share the video, your results go way up, okay? So incorporate that, and for leaders, incorporate that into your trainings, okay? Teaching your people to do that. No, don't just share the video. Personalize it and share it from a perspective of your feelings about the product and your experience about the product. Now, in addition to that, if you share the video and you share VNI, use the tools, you share your feelings, and you connect the sharing to a need with the person that you're sharing, woo, now you've got something. If they've shared with you that they've been running out of energy in the afternoons, if they share with you that they're not sleeping at night, if they share with you that their stress is at an all-time high, if they share with you that they can't stand their job and they're being, get beat up at work and they had a pay raise in 10 years and they haven't been able to take vacation days in 3 years, then you've got opportunities as you share. So you share the video, you share your feelings in your own, and not necessarily in the sequence, but in the process. You share the video, you share your feelings about the VNI products and the results and your experience. That's a good way to put it. You share some of your experience, from the heart. And number 3, you share from a perspective of what's in it for them based on what they've told you, a need, a want, a desire. Then folks, all of a sudden, that's a recipe for massive opportunity to add value and to grow right there. So if all you did was share, I'm repeating on purpose, if all you did was just share the videos and follow up, you're going to have results. But if you share the videos and in the course of that process, you share your experience and your feelings about VNI, and then you're going to have a better result. But if also there's a need and you tie that sharing into potentially solving a need for the individual you're sharing with, folks, that's the secret sauce. Now, I want to give you just a couple of ideas real quick. And I'm going to mute so I can clear my throat and don't drive y'all crazy. All right. Okay. I should be unmuted now. Unmute myself. There we go. All right. I'm going to give you a couple ideas just to whet your appetite. So as you're out there sharing, I want you to keep your VNI success journal. This one I just filled up, full of all VNI. And jot notes down. If a phrase came out right and you liked it, or if you asked a good question, or if you're upline, if Gina Bender's giving you some coaching, or Cynthia Sauer's giving you some coaching, or anyone is giving, and you're working with your team, and jot down the ideas and incorporate that. Again, it's about learning and growing every day. It's about incremental progress. It's about progress. We talk about this a lot, not perfection. Okay, it's about getting a little bit better today than we were yesterday, and enjoy the journey. That's the beauty of this. Don't get stressed out. Just have fun. Now, a couple of ideas. If you're sharing, when you're inviting people to learn about VNI, just a couple ideas. And I touched on this a little bit last week, and I'm just going to give you these examples. I'm not going to have time to chat them down, but you can watch the replay and stop it and rewind it. If you're talking to Mary, let me ask you something. Is your health important to you, or is your health a priority to you? Okay. Another way of asking that is, Mary, on a scale, and again, consistent with your personality, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is your health? That's a great opening. Those are great opening comments. Mary, is your health important to you? Or, Mary, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is your health? The reason I'm asking this is that I'm curious. What are you doing for your health? The reason I ask is I'm just curious. Do you have a wellness plan? Okay. So again, you're just kind of opening the doors. And by the way, if you're talking to maybe a younger person, that doesn't have, any aches and pains like some of us do as we mature, then you could say, same opening question, Mary, is your health important to you? Or Mary, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is your health? If you're talking to a younger person, you could ask, the next statement could be, let me ask you something, Mary, what are you doing to reduce stress and increase energy? So if you're talking to younger folks, stress and energy is more of a sweet spot than a baby boomer, or, I'm right at the cusp of, I'm 1 year short of a baby boomer, but when you get in your 50s, you start to feel life a little bit. So anyway, there's no wrong answer. But I'm just giving you some ideas here. So I'm going to go back to that. So Mary, let me ask you something. Is your health important to you? Or Mary, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is your health? The reason I'm asking is I'm curious. Do you have a wellness plan for yourself and your family? And specifically, are you supplementing your diet? Are you taking any type of nutritional supplements? Okay. Each time you ask a question, I want you to be quiet and listen. The mistake all of us make is, especially if we're new, is when there's silence, we rush in to fill it. We rush in to fill that silence. Don't do that. Okay, so let me go back to that last question. Specifically, what are you doing to supplement your diet? Or specifically, what are you doing in the area of nutritional supplements? That could be the question. And then you listen. And then you say, listen, Mary, I have to tell you about an amazing nutritional discovery called Protovite. Or, Mary, I just absolutely have to tell you about an amazing nutritional discovery called Brain Reward. Or, Mary, I just got to tell you about an amazing nutritional sciences company called VNI. I just am so excited about what I've learned. Okay? And then boom, you share. All right? So those are some ideas. Those are some ideas. Again, if you're dealing with, back to the younger version, if you will, Mary, what are you doing to reduce stress and increase energy? And then you say, I have to tell you about an amazing energy and wellness discovery called Protovite. Or I have to tell you about an amazing stress discovery, stress management discovery called Brain Reward. You see how that works? So you just want to play with it a little bit. Again, it's not really scripting, but it's you're learning, you're getting some open-ended questions when you decide the time's right to share. Okay? When you decide the time's right with any of your contacts, either over the phone or in person, to share VNI, you want to be equipped with some conversation, some good questions. Mary, is your health important to you? John, is your health important to you? John, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is your health? Now, the reason I'm asking is what are you doing for your health right now? Do you have a wellness plan for yourself and your family? Quiet and listen. Specifically, what are you doing to supplement? Are you taking any nutritional supplements? Okay, so those are some ideas on the product side that, leading with the product. A couple real quick tips on sharing on, if the need or the opportunity, if you want to lead with more of a business discussion as you're sharing VNI. The direct approach, and I mentioned this in passing last week, I had a couple of individuals say, hey, slow down and walk me through this. So that's the reason I wanted to share. John, if I could show you how $150 investment per month in your health could turn into $1,000 to $3,000 a month part-time, would that be something you're interested in learning about? Okay, and the numbers, you can move the numbers around because, as you know, our Ed and Gina Bender, our top leaders have a 6-figure residual. We've got tons of part-time partners that are from a few hundred to a couple thousand a month, hundreds. So you can customize those numbers, as just do it with integrity, obviously. Under promise, over deliver. John, if I could show you how to turn a $150 a month investment in your health and turn that into $500 to $1,000 a month part-time, what would you say? What would you say? And then be quiet and listen. And if they say, well, what is it? Or it depends on what's involved. What do you mean? We'll say, listen, I'm involved. I'm working with a company called Victory Nutrition International, and we teach people how to earn additional income from home. I'd like to share some information with you, and let's see if may or may not be a fit, but I want you to see what we're doing. It's very exciting. Okay? All right. And again, remember, when you're sharing the words, as you're practicing the words, it's what you say is important, but it's how you feel about what you say that's most important. Okay? It's not as much, what you say is important because that'll give you confidence, but it's not what you say. It is how you feel about what you say. All right, sending that in the chat. And what you say is important as you practice it and getting better, but it's more important how you feel about what you say. Your passion, consistent with your personality, your passion, your belief, your conviction. Okay, that's what, and that's part of the learning curve if you're brand new. So that's the direct approach. That's the direct approach. And you tie that, you can tie it back in. So back, let me walk you through that again. John, if I could show you how to turn a $150 a month investment in your health, and I'm mixing the numbers up to give you examples. If I could show you how to turn a $150 investment in your health into $1,000 to $2,000 a month part-time, what would you say? Well, and you stop talking, you listen. And John says, well, what is it, or what's involved? Well, John, I'm working with a company called VNI, and we teach people how to earn additional income from home. And then John might say, well, how do you do that? Well, we do that through an amazing nutritional discovery called ProDivide. Okay, so now you tie it back into the product, and then you share the video. Okay, so anyway, we'll build on this, but this is just hopefully this is helpful. All right, now one other thing, that was the direct approach on the business side. That was the direct approach. There's an indirect approach that's very effective. And candidly, when I was building teams many years ago, I like the indirect approach. It's just a very, it really works. So the indirect approach would be something like, John, I need you. I was wondering if you'd give me some help. I'm expanding my business in the greater Charlotte area, or our business is growing. Our nutritional science business is absolutely growing. We're looking for some sharp people. Do you know, or who do you know that's interested in earning an additional $1,000 to $2,000 a month part-time from home? John, who do you know that's dissatisfied with what they're doing and would like to make some extra income? John, I'm expanding my business. I need your help. I'm looking for some good people. Who do you know that would be interested in earning an additional $2,000 to $3,000 a month part-time from their home? Okay, so that's the indirect approach. Sometimes if you take the indirect approach, that the individual you're sharing with will say, well, me, I'd be interested in that. Okay, and the idea is, well, how do you do that? Well, we do it through an amazing nutritional discovery called ProDivide, or we do it through an amazing line of nutritional science products that are backed by clinical studies. And I can't wait to share the information with you. And then you share the video. Okay? All right, we're going to move from sharing now. Now we're going to spend the rest of our time on the follow-up. All right, on the follow-up. So we've talked part one. Who do we share with? Part 2, which was last week, we talked about when do we share and how do we share. And we've covered that. And we talk about the pattern of activity, the pattern of productive activity. That's the process. Invite, share, follow up. So now you've invited, now you've shared. Here's the key. I want you, you're going to hear this. This is a statement that floats around a lot, but I want to emphasize it because it really is accurate. The fortune is in the follow-up. The fortune's in the follow-up in terms of building your customer base. And I want to tell you the timing of the follow-up is important. From my experience, 24 to 48 hours is critical. So if you've invited me to learn about the VNI products, now I'll tell you the best way to do it. The best way to do it is set an expectation. I'm sending you this in chat. Set a clear expectation on the follow-up. So if you forward me, you've invited me to learn about VNI. All right. And as you're sharing, you say, Jeff, all right, listen, would you rather me email you the short video, or would you want me to text it to you? I'm gonna say, hey, listen, I've got my smartphone with me all the time. And so just text it to me. Okay. So Jeff, this is you. Jeff, let me ask you something. I'm going to text it to you right now. When will you have 5 minutes to watch it? Can you watch it right now? And if I say yes, say, great, listen, watch it right now. I'll call you back in 10 minutes. I want to get your feedback. That's a winner. So work with urgency. Have some urgency, not panic. I always tell people urgency is good, panic is bad. So you don't want to be like a puppy. I don't know if you remember that. I probably shouldn't go down. There's an old cartoon. It was back when the Bugs Bunny days, and it was the big bulldog, and then he had the little yapper dog that was always in front of him going, where are we going? Where are we going? Yeah. You don't want to be a yapper. You don't necessarily want to be the bulldog. He was a little bit bullish, but you want to be, I call it relaxed intensity. You want to be confident, but warm, relational. So again, urgency is good, panic's bad. So back to that example, Jeff, when can you watch the video? Okay. So if I say, you can even ask, hey, Jeff, do you have 5 minutes to watch it now? Okay. Because if it's important to you, it's going to be more than likely important to me, even though I'm busy and everybody's busy. Okay. Now let me give you an example of what not to do. Jeff, if I forward you, and for our leaders out there, when you're coaching your team, I want you to ask questions, specific questions about how they're sharing. Okay. So in other words, if I'm on your team and I'm brand new, or even if I'm not, say, hey, Jeff, listen, when do you have 5 minutes? Let's catch up. And you say, listen, pull out your calendar, and because I want to help you here. How many new people have you shared VNI with in the last week? And then I tell you the answer. I've shared with 4 people, whatever the answer is. Okay, great. Pick 2 of those and walk me through the process from the very beginning. When did you how long have you known them? How were they on your contact list? When did you decide to share? What did you say? What'd you do? Well, leaders, we can't cover. I'm transitioning into leadership here, but real quick, just think about this. How can you coach me if you don't know what I'm doing? How can you coach me if you don't know kind of where I'm at? If you don't know what I do know and what I don't know? You got to ask questions. That's how you lead and coach, through questions. So you walk me through, you say, hey, Jeff, what'd you say? How'd you do it? When did you follow up? And what you'll learn is sometimes people do this. It's a lack of urgency. So back to the example, this is what not to do. Okay, Jeff, I'm going to share this video. So I did everything correctly. They're open to watch the video. Jeff, I'm going to forward you this video. Can you watch it over the next week or 2? And then get back to me? That's what people do sometimes, because they don't want to appear pushy. And so what's coming across is no belief, no conviction in what we're doing, and unintentionally. And what it is it's just fear. It's just fear of rejection. And you don't want to do that. So have some urgency. If it's important to you, remember, it's not so much what you say, it's how you feel about what you say. So back to that example, you want to say, look, Jeff, when can you watch this short 5-minute video? And I say, well, maybe can you watch it right now? Okay. If I've already shared with you, if I say yes, say great, I'll follow up in 10 minutes to see I want to get your feedback. Okay. What if I say, well, I can watch it tonight. I can watch it tonight. Great. Roughly what time? After dinner, after dinner, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Okay, great. Why don't we catch up at 8:30 and spend a few minutes? I'll be interested in get your feedback on that. Okay. So setting a clear expectation on the follow-up you can't always do that. But if you can, it makes all the difference, because you're putting value on the information you're sharing. If you're putting value on it, and you care about it, then that's going to come through. That confidence, that belief, that conviction is going to transfer to me, and it's going to mean more to me. Okay, so because a lot of times you say, hey, I'm going to shoot you a video, watch it when you can and get back to me. What happens? Days go by, sometimes weeks go by, and you never get back with the person. So you got to put value as you're positioning, as you're invite, share, follow up, as you're engaging in the pattern of productive activity. Put a value on it. Okay, now, the clear expectation that the 24 to 48 hours, let me share sometimes what happens. Let's say you invited somebody to this past Thursday night to our Zoom presentation that Bill and I did. All right, so it's best to circle up after that and make plans to chat with them a few minutes after the Zoom to get their feedback. And that's what many of you have done. In fact, we had a share and grow pack that I'm aware of from a guest that was on the Thursday night presentation that came in yesterday, brand new partner engaging. So a lot of you are doing that, and that's great. Sometimes you can't connect with a person, so you want to follow up that next day. So here's the key. The mindset on the follow-up is set a clear expectation, and the goal is you want to move people forward. Let me just chat this. You want to move people forward to what I call a good yes or a good no. And when I say a good yes or a good no, that's an informed decision. And no might just be no for now. No might just be, you know what? It's not. I'm focused on other stuff. Life is busy. So in the follow-up process, I want to give you a bridge phrase that's going to help you big time. It's going to help you big time. But before we get to that, I want you to have a mindset of what I just put in the chat bar. The mindset that it's a sorting process, not a convincing process. Let the tools do the work. Say less to more people. And again, the process is invite, share, follow up. Invite, share, follow up. Okay? So you want to move people to a good yes or a good no. Okay? And the way you want to do that is you always, if let's say you followed up with me and I say, you know what? It looks interesting. I can see that the science looks significant. This doesn't look like, a normal Centrum product or what I see at the store. So it looks pretty good, but I'm not ready to commit to purchasing the product. And one of the things in the follow-up, you want to ask questions. What did you like about what you saw in the video? What jumped out at you? What questions do you have? Those are that. So when you're following up the first time, ask questions. What did you like about what you saw? What jumps out at you? What questions do you have? Those are very, very good. Now, in addition to that, hey, well, listen, let's go ahead and get you. You might just be assumptive. That's what many of our leaders do. Well, listen, you got to get on this product, Jeff. Try it for 90 days. You're going to be so glad you did. Let's go ahead and get you started. What product do you want to start with? And be assumptive. And I say, well, you know what? I'm not quite ready to place a product order yet. I'm not quite ready. Then you might be thinking to yourself, okay, I've hit a wall. What do I do next? What do I do next? Okay, here's a phrase that's going to help you. The next step is. Okay, Jeff, the next step is, I'm going to forward you, I've already forwarded you the video, but I'm going to forward you my marketing website. Now, hopefully what I typically would recommend is you're forwarding them the link to your website and telling them to hit the video at the top. Okay. But so you could just say, hey, listen, Jeff, you know, that link that I forwarded you, I'm going to forward it to you again, but that's my entire marketing website. And based on the questions that you've had, I want you to go to this pointer, or I'll send you a link that takes you directly to the product, or I'll send you a link that takes you to, if they've got business questions, to on the partner site that gives you some of the information on the business side of VNI. Okay, so the next step is, and then you forward something new. Okay, or the next, I'll tell you the best next step. And Gina and Ed Bender right now are saying, hey, you read my mind. We were hoping you would go here. All right, the very best next step is a 3-way call. Whoops. With one of your upline success coaches. The next step is, I want to introduce you, Jeff. This is you. I want to introduce you to one of my partners. They have built an amazing customer base. They've seen these products deliver just tremendous results, and they're doing so well in the business. You know, they just went manager. They just went executive manager. They just went director in the business, which means they built a wonderful customer base and a lot of good things are happening. They just went executive director. Or they're the number one income earners in the company. They're what's called ambassadors, and they built a business all across the U.S. and Canada. And they're going to be able to answer your questions. And I just can't. And they're more important than that, Jeff, they are wonderful people. And I want you to get a feel for the VNI community, because we really are a family. The next step is, I want to put you on a phone call with them. What does your schedule look like tonight, or maybe tomorrow afternoon if you're around? Okay. So the next step is, that's a quote. The next step is boom. All right. So in the follow-up mindset, you want to move the individual to a good yes or a good no. And you want to, and so you want to drip on them. You want to think of a reason. It can be an article. It can be one of our press releases on the clinicals that were just released. It could be, you want to invite them to another conference call, forward them another video, maybe you forwarded them the 5-minute video first. Now forward them, based on their questions, forward them the video on the brain reward, or forward them, you found out they're not sleeping well, forward them the short, just over 1-minute video on N-Sorb. Keep dripping. The language we use is keep dripping on them as you move the process forward. Keep dripping on them, dripping new information. Invite them to a conference call. You know, again, the best next step is a 3-way call, but you can forward them. You can invite them to the Thursday night Zoom. You could forward a recording of the Thursday night Zoom. You could forward them one of the short videos. You could forward them the full 11-minute video that gets into the business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So move the process forward. Now, what happens if you can't, if somebody goes dark on you? Okay, you share the video, or they plugged into a Thursday night Zoom, and then you're not able to get back to them. You don't want to, be careful. Do not chase. Okay. Excuse me. Don't chase. Don't chase. What I mean by that is, don't allow the dynamic to get in a position where they're ducking you, or you feel like they're ducking you. Okay. You don't want to, you want to maintain a warm position of strength. Okay. A warm position of strength. Hold 1 second. I'm sorry. I got to clear my throat. Okay. Now, how do you do that? Don't call somebody or text them. Please, please, please listen. Remember, urgency is good. Panic is bad. Don't, if you've invited me and I've watched the video, or I was on the Thursday night Zoom and then you followed up, or maybe we said, hey, I'll be available. Let's chat after the Zoom. And you call me and you leave a voicemail, or you text me and there's no response. Do not call or text or email multiple times in the same day. Okay, don't do that. I believe personally, and there's a little bit, you got to use discernment, use your judgment, but follow up is dynamic. And I typically don't follow up every day. I don't want, in this case, me, you don't want me to think you've got nothing else in the whole world going on, but I'm your entire business. Okay. Remember, say less to more people. Say less to more people, and let the tools do the sorting. So I will follow up, usually historically, many, many years ago in relationship marketing, I would follow up every couple of days. I would drip. I would forward some new information. I would invite them to another conference call. And you want to be patient. You want to be patient because, again, we never, ever, 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 don't take it personally. We never know what people are dealing with in their own lives. So you definitely don't want to blow them out of the water. Hey, you said you were going to be there. What's going on? I'm only do business with people with integrity and that follow through on what they say. And, never blow somebody out of the water. Ever, ever, ever. All you're doing, you might as well just, punch yourself in the stomach. That's not the way you can't. You're not gonna win that way, and you're not going to build the type of business and customer base that you want and that you're capable of with that mindset. So be patient with people, but drip on people. And then the time's right. And use your judgment. What I used to do in the past is if someone, especially if it was a friend, if I felt like over a period of maybe a week that they really are ducking me, I would take it. Hold on a second. My phone's ringing. I would take it off the table. I would take it off the table. I would, and again, this is just, I would only do this if it's a friend and I felt like it was getting uncomfortable. So let's say my friend was John. I would typically call, and I'm going to get John's voicemail. I say, hey, John, listen, I shared, we talked about VNI a week ago, Monday. It's been 10 days. Obviously, you're focused on other things and the timing's not right, or you have no interest. So I don't want, look, friendship first, John. I don't want this to be uncomfortable. I don't want you to think, a lot of great things happening with my business and with my customer base, and it's all good. So by way of this voicemail, I'm going to remove the topic of VNI from our conversation. And when I see you at church, or when I see you at softball, or when I see you at the tennis courts, or when I see you whatever, it's off the table unless you bring it back up. So listen, tell Mary I said hello. Have an awesome day. God bless you, and we'll talk soon. I do a takeaway. And I can't tell you over the decades how many times I've gotten a phone call, very shortly thereafter. Oh, Jeff, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm not blowing you off. And at the very least, it's honoring the relationship. Remember, make a friend, find a need, transfer the feeling. Relationship first, always. So you got to do it the right way. Do it with love, do it with kindness. But I never, ever want anyone to feel like I need them, because I don't. I'm going to, and I don't want you to feel that way either. You're going to build an amazing business with VNI, with or without any one person. The only idea is, look, this can help you. Our products can help you and bless you physically. And if the timing's right, and if you're looking for options, this business model can bless you financially as well. So the question's not, do I need you? The question is, can this help you? Can what I'm doing add value in your life? So never, ever allow yourself to get into a position where you're chasing. You're like that yapping dog in the cartoon I was describing. Hopefully you remember that. Never let yourself get in that position, if that makes sense. Okay. Now, finally, one other thing I want to share, and we're done. In the follow-up, if someone says no, I want to introduce you to a concept that I call networking through the no. Networking through the no. Now, if somebody says no, and maybe you don't really know them, there's not a friendship there, there's not a relationship, or if they've said no and they're kind of rude or disrespectful, then I take them off the list. The beauty of this is, as you're building your customer base, the beauty of the VNI model is you're focusing on our mission of helping people. You get to choose who you bring on as a customer. You get to choose who you want to do business with as a partner. And that's you're the CEO of your own VNI business. That's what you know that. I mean, you have the flexibility to build your own team. And so if someone has been disrespectful or treated you with less than integrity or respect or kindness, if you want to, you can fire them. You can take them off your contact list, and literally, I wouldn't bring VNI back up with that individual if it was the last thing on, or if it was, that's your choice. So I want you to feel empowered with this process because you are a business owner. As an authorized partner with Victory Nutrition International, you are a business owner. I want you to recognize that. I want you to embrace that. And so, but if somebody says no and they're a really good person and it's just the timing's wrong or whatever reason, do not burn bridges. I can't tell you, some of your best customers over time and some of your best partners over time will be individuals that maybe initially said no for whatever reason. So networking through the no, it has two main components. Number one, you say, hey, Jeff, listen, I know the timing's not right, but with your permission, I'm not going to overload you, but can I have your permission maybe every month or so just to kind of course, I'll see you around if that's the reality. I'll see you, but do I have your permission every once in a while just to forward you some information or kind of keep you updated on how things are progressing? So you're just asking to keep the door open. I'll tell you, if you do it that way, 99.99999, actually, I'll say 100%. I've never had somebody say no. If there's any rapport at all. Listen, Jeff, I know the timing's not right, but do I have your permission just to keep you up to speed periodically, kind of let you know what's going on? Or if we have, if our scientific advisory board releases, some more information that I think will be valuable and interesting to you, can I forward that to you? And then you put them on your drip list, and don't over drip. Don't go once a day or once a week or multiple times a week. Use your judgment. Maybe every 2-3 weeks, maybe once a month, you drip on that individual. And then maybe in a few months, you grab a cup of coffee and just catch up with them personally and say, oh, by the way, let me tell you what's happening with VNI. We just launched this new app. It's unbelievable. Oh, did I say that? So anyway, you can drip. All right. So networking through the no means when you choose, leave the door open. That's number one. Number two, referrals. Hey, Jeff, listen, I know the timing's not right for you, but who do you know that's really serious about their health? Who do you know that's an athlete? Who do you know that's struggling with some health issues? Who do you know that's an entrepreneur and likes to build businesses? Who do you know that's a dissatisfied successful that might be looking for some other career options? Networking through the no, folks. If you'll teach and train that, I promise you, there's no dead ends in our pattern of productive activity. There's no dead ends unless you choose to close the door and make it a dead end. Leave the doors open. No means no for now. And keep sifting and sorting. Invite, share, follow up. Say less to more people. Okay? So, folks, that's it. That's the end of it. I've got one other thing to share as I wrap up. So that if you'll go back through these 3 trainings, if you'll take your team through these 3 trainings, the more effective we teach our team to share, using the tools, using the upline success coach, recognizing the process, moving people to, that are learning about VNI, moving them to a good yes or a good no. The next step is, I want to introduce you to my partner, and they can answer your questions. And they're really wonderful people. That's the process. So who are we going to talk to? How are we going to share? Invite, share, follow up, and how to do the follow up. These 3 trainings we've done, just 3 hours of content, folks. This is building blocks. This is what, if you'll help your partners master the idea of and the concepts of sharing VNI, the product, sharing VNI, the business, and then we just do it. That's it. Then we just do it. Break the zero. Cynthia Sauer sent a video out to her team just last week. She broke the zero again in July, and she sent out a video encouraging and inspiring her team. Now, I want to send one last, this is a leadership. I want to close with leadership. Leaders are responsible. You as leaders, you're all leaders, you wouldn't be on there. You're responsible to your team and to your people, not for your people. Okay? I want to close with that. Now, what do I mean by that? That means, you think about this. As you build a team of partners, you're responsible for leading by example. Set the pace. Do what you want your people to do. Do what you want your team to do. Break the zero every single month. Break the zero every week if you're running hard. And set the pace for your team. But recognize, okay, so here's a question. I'm coming at it from another angle. Are you responsible for the success of your partners? Now, I know some of you that are watching this live, and you answered yes. And you're leaders, and you have big hearts. And I'm telling you, that's a wrong answer. Okay. We as leaders, you as leaders, you're responsible to your partners and your customers to help them, to shepherd them. And from a partner standpoint, you're responsible to them to set them up for success and be available to work with them and to encourage them. But you are not responsible for them. And if you'll make that differentiation, your leadership will jump to a whole new level, and it'll free you up. Okay, we love everyone in the VNI family, customers and partners. We want to be we're a team on a mission, and loving people and kindness and treating people with respect is not optional. That's who we are. But from a leadership standpoint, with your team, when you're building your partner team, you are responsible to them. If they take a step, you take a step. If they take 2 steps, you take 2 steps. If they work to 10 o'clock, you work to 10:01. But if they don't take a step, you can't carry them. You can't put them on your back and take the step for them. We all need to take responsibilities for our own business. So as a leader, you're responsible to your team, but not for your team. We'll build on that as we move forward. But folks, this has been a great 3-part series. I hope you'll go through it again. I hope you'll, with your partners that want to build a business with us, that want to roll up their sleeves and engage in this important mission, I hope you'll walk them through these 3 trainings, their first week or 2 in the business, and then help connect the dots for them as you lead them into action. I think it'll be very helpful. So have an awesome day. As of this recording, we've got 11 days left in July. Let's finish July strong and build on it. And y'all have an awesome day. God bless. Bye-bye.